Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Power Core Productions and Podcastings. I'm your host, Ron Harrington, back to hit you with another video. And today, we are now at the final part of Fire Force Lightspeed Rescue, based on the Heroes of the Morphing Grid series, Part 5. Now, you might be wondering why this is the final part. Well, after last week's video and seeing the results that it's done, I've decided that it's best if we finish things off here before the crossover. Now, I know a lot of you voted for me to keep the series going, but again, I just have to reiterate, I can't keep making videos for a series that not enough people care about. It's going on a week since I made the last part, and that video hasn't even hit 100 views yet. And because of that, I have just decided that it would be for the best if we just finish things off and end it here. In the grand scheme of things, they're just supposed to be a part of the crossover event anyway, so there was no need to go too far. So this is going to be the last part of the series. I do hope you understand where I'm coming from with this. It's not that I don't like making the videos, and I do appreciate the ones that stick around and watch, but time and time again, people just weren't really into it, but I guess I had gotten too far into the series to stop now, so I guess we're just going to keep going with what we have. But anyway, this is going to be the last part, so next Friday, we are going to be starting a new series, so keep that in mind going into the future. And with that, thank you for, liking it so far. I'm sure that people will take the time to watch it eventually, and I do appreciate that. But I do feel it's for the best if we end things here, so part 5 is going to be the last part. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into today's video. So as always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Shinra and his fellow fire soldiers of Company 8 will return home after dealing with yet another crisis. As they had settled in for the day, Shinra laying in his bed, he couldn't stop thinking about his brother's show, about the White Clad, and about the impending doom, wondering if or when the next great cataclysm may occur. But for now, there really wasn't much that he could do. So he decided to rest and relax, knowing that a day's worth of paperwork was sure to come. Under normal circumstances, they would have gotten to work on it, but even Captain Obi and Lieutenant Hinawa knew that the rest of the crew needed rest. Victor and Vulcan would be working in the lab, just going over damage reports and making sure that everything was up to snuff, checking on any other equipment and anything that might have been damaged from the last battle. As they did so, a strange phenomena would then occur. No one knew what was happening, but they made their way into the kitchen, as it seemed as though from the ceiling a portal had opened. Everyone stood on guard, and no one knew what was about to happen next, when suddenly 3 individuals fell onto the table. Lieutenant Hinawa pulled out his gun immediately, Captain Obi standing on guard as they waited for the 3 visitors to get their bearings together. It was 3 boys. One was blonde, spiky haired, the other had dark green hair, and one his hair was half red and half white. As they looked around at one another, the blonde-haired boy would yell in anger. "Deku, you damn idiot! What are you doing with that damn time jump again? I thought I told you after the last time." "Ow! I'm sorry, Kachan. My hand slipped. It wasn't my fault, really." "Guys, I don't think we're home. I don't think we got close." "Oh yeah. Hey, where are we?" Captain Hinoa would keep his gun pointed at them. He asked immediately who they were and where they had come from. The three boys would all hold their hands up, trying to explain things. Hold up, you don't have to shoot. We come in peace." "Who are you? Answer now."
My name's Izuku Midoriya. These are, my friends, Katsuki Bakugo and Shoto Todoroki. Nice to meet you."
"And just what are you doing here? How did you get here in the first place?"
Would you believe me if I told you interdimensional travel?"
Both Captain Obi and Lieutenant Hinoa looked at one another, wondering if this was some sort of joke. However, Vulcan and Victor would look surprised. They asked if it were true and if something like that was even possible. Izuku would nod and showed the device they had used to get there. Once they saw that this was indeed a possibility, this now left even more questions than answers. They would all go inside of Captain Obi's office, as the three young boys would sit with everyone surrounding them, now looking for an explanation. What they were about to hear was something that they thought couldn't make any possible sense. Because if what they had said was true, then it meant that they were in even more trouble than they could have possibly have realized. And that, in a funny twist of irony, the White-Clad might be the least of their troubles. Izuku would explain that they too were Power Rangers. Upon hearing this caught all of their attentions. They asked how that was even possible since they were technically the Power Rangers. Izuku questioned this. Shinra and the others would reveal that they were the Lightspeed Rangers. Izuku asked how they had gotten their morphers, and Vulcan would explain that they had existed about 250 years ago. Izuku would theorize that this must have been an alternate reality, where a version of the Rangers must have existed, but that it must have stopped at light speed. As they collaborated their notes to see what either side knew, they would come to learn of how the three had gotten there. You see, for Izuku and his friends from the world that they had come from, a world that you all are quite familiar with, Izuku explained how they were the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and how, for some time now, they had been traveling from dimension to dimension, hopefully trying to find other Rangers that could help them in their cause. They explained the coming of Lord Draken, an evil Ranger who was traveling across the multiverse in an attempt to find the true morphing grid. If he was able to do so, he would obtain unlimited power, and he would essentially become a god. Hearing this news, it became a bit unsettling for everyone. Shinra especially, to hear that there was another enemy that existed, and on that big of a scale. For Victor though, he was absolutely mind blown. If dealing with the White-Clad wasn't enough, now there was this Lord Draken guy. The possibility that they might have to go across the different dimensions? This sounded like nothing but straight theory, but now it was a possibility.
He had to know more. He wanted to. However, at that very moment, another strange phenomena would occur. One that none of the other Rangers could have possibly have expected. You see, there was a great feeling that washed over all of the Rangers. But specifically, Shinra and Bakugo, the both respective Red Rangers. Shinra, the Red Lightspeed Ranger, Bakugo, the Red Mighty Morphin Ranger. They felt a sense of sadness swelling up within them. For Shinra, he saw visions. The visions he saw were of two boys, like brothers. He saw their emotions, how they grew up together, how they were raised together, and how now one of the brothers was in trouble. This feeling washed over Shinra to the point where he couldn't ignore it. He felt as though he needed to get somewhere, but he wasn't sure. The more this feeling washed over him, he looked towards Izuku and told him what he felt, and Bakugo explained he felt this similar feeling. They weren't sure what was happening, but instantly, another portal would open. Shinra felt he needed to go through it. It was something he had to do. As he looked back to Captain Obi, now a decision had to be made. This threat couldn't be ignored, but at the same time, all of them couldn't just leave. After all, the White Clad were still an enemy that needed to be dealt with. Thankfully, there were still a few other Rangers that could help. There was the captain of Company 7, Benimaru. There was Princess Hibana, the captain of Company 5. And there was Lieutenant Rekka of Company 1. They also had Lightspeed Ranger powers, but they didn't have to leave if necessary. They could stay and hold down the fort. Along with Captain Obi and Lieutenant Hinoa, they would stay, including Maki, the yellow Lightspeed Ranger. But Shinra, Arthur, Tamaki, and Inka, if they could go, then that would be fine for now. After thinking it over, Shinra decided that he wanted to go. Arthur, feeling as though it were the duty of a knight to serve and protect no matter what dimension, would go as well. Tamaki thought this would be a new adventure, and she agreed to go also. And Inka, well, she was going to go wherever Shinra went, so that was a no-brainer. Once they decided this, they would jump through the portal instantly. Izuku saying thank you to Captain Obi respectfully, as he and his three friends would leave alongside them. As they made their way through, where they came to next was somewhere none of them were expecting. For you see, they weren't the only ones that got the call. Uraraka, the pink Mighty Morphin Ranger, Momo Yaoyorozu, the yellow Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, Kenya Ida, the blue Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, Melissa, the white Tiger Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, would also arrive as well. But they weren't the only ones there. Among the explosions and the chaos swirling all around them, there were other faces that they had never seen before that came tumbling out of portals as well. There was a young boy who looked as though he were dressed from a fantasy land. He stumbled out of a portal alongside a bunch of girls that were close behind him. There was a girl with long blue hair, a girl with long blonde hair, a girl who wore something akin to a witch's hat and an eye patch, holding a staff that fell closely behind him. There was also a girl who was well endowed in scarlet purple robe. She too emerged from the portal as the boy held onto his head as he had stumbled out the hardest. Ow! Aqua! What the heck did you do this time? Don't look at me! It's not my fault! Kazuma, look! Explosions everywhere! Calm down, Megumin. Darkness, what are you doing? I'm sorry. It was just I don't even want to know. What the heck is going on here? Ow! From another side, another portal emerged, as some familiar faces for Deku and his friends also came out. What on earth is going on now, third child? Asuka, you don't have to call me that every time you get angry. I can't tell where we are, but we're not in third Tokyo anymore. Like we didn't know that before, Wonder Girl. What the heck is going on? From the far side, another portal would open, and more would stumble out. Hey! What's going on, everybody? Oh, what's going on here? Gojo-sensei! Where are we? How did we get here? Oh no. Yuji, did you do something? No, Fuguroshi, I wouldn't, but I don't know how we got here. I'm not sure what happened. I had this feeling, and I just had to go. Everyone looked around one another. They all saw and stared, seeing the fighting and explosions occurring. There was a great battle. They weren't sure of how they had gotten here, but there was one thing that they could recognize. There were individuals in colorful costume in combat. There was one fighting with 3 swords, another one fighting using only his feet, a girl using a staff that could summon the weather, another one that could form multiple hands. There seemed to be one that could transform his body, another one fighting with a slingshot, and the one leading the charge as he was racing towards a horde in the middle of combat, heading to a great staircase where perched high above, standing between what looked like 2 officials, was a young man who had been chained and looked as though he were about to be executed. You see, for this story, before their journey to defeating the infamous Lord Draken can begin, all of our Rangers will be gathering together as a pit stop has to be made. For you see, the feelings that all of the Red Rangers felt were that of the newest Ranger to join our ranks. His name is Monkey D. Luffy, and he and his crew are on a mission to save his brother, Fire Fist Ace, as they had all gathered together at the Battle of Marine Ford. This concludes Fire Force Lightspeed Rescue, based on the Heroes of the Morphin Grid series, Part 5. As always, if you're a fan of today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcasting, so that's to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned next Monday as we are going to be continuing What If Deku Was Iron Man? My Hero Academia Armored Adventures Part 7. And also stay tuned this weekend as we are going to be doing a special What If Deku Was Iron Man? My Hero Academia Armored Adventures the movie 2 Heroes. That is going to be connected to the series. Stay tuned as it will be coming out either Saturday or Sunday. But anyway, that's going to do for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings, signing off, and I'll see you next time.